I think this mural tells a story of hope and optimism. It tells a story about the importance of community connection. And it tells a story of grief and loss. This is more than just painting. In some ways, it speaks to the power of art. This subject is particularly challenging, and I think when you have that universal language, it becomes a little bit easier to engage in the conversation. Embracing the Light is the second suicide awareness project that I've done in the last 15 years. We did one in 2011. It was a huge community engagement effort. It was amazing.
The mural, Finding the Light Within, I went to visit this mural shortly after it was unveiled to the public. And I remember just feeling like a sense of like pain and a feeling of like sadness, but I also felt appreciation that it existed. It became a space that was like a sanctuary for me. So I would often just go to that parking lot, sit on one of the benches and just think. I lost a younger brother, Atif, to suicide. He was a phenomenal artist. He was a phenomenal dancer. He had a lot of style. He would dress better than anybody. He was just full of personality. He was beloved by a lot of people. And he was younger than me. He also was shorter than me, but I looked up to him because he was talented in ways that I wish that I could be talented in. He just was so full of love and personality and always seemed like he was okay. So his death was a shock. There's a depiction of a young person in raging waters and someone is on shore with a life preserver in position to throw it and to lead them to shore. My immediate thoughts were about my brother, but I was suffering depression. I saw myself as the person that was in those waters and needing help. I was surprised that that mural had that kind of power. It was the first time I ever experienced something like that. As an advocate, I still need help. So that type of a mural have helped me to understand like we all need help. Because I don't think that even the guy on the shore is exempt from needing help. We need each other in order to get to safe spaces.
When it was clear that we were not going to be able to see this mural in the same way, the developers recognized the importance of the project, what it meant to the community, and provided us funding to do a new project. So now we're on the tail end of the second project that began in 2023. Well, I had a roadmap with the first project. We started with the idea that we would engage with storytelling, bringing really two groups of people together, people who are struggling with ideation and people who were grieving or had lost someone to suicide.
We got a phone call from my mom's friends saying that they believe that we would really benefit and enjoy being a part of this mural. Both Rose and I lost our brothers on the same day to suicide, and we didn't even know each other. Our brothers didn't know each other, but we were living a street apart from each other. We went through the same exact suffering at the same exact time. And once we figured that connection out, we have been nonstop together of just making the world know that people die by suicide and that it's a horrible thing and that we need more help. When they told me that we were going to do a writing project that's going to turn into a play, that's going to turn into a mural, I was like...
We both looked at each other and said, what?
What? How the heck is this going to come together? We did everything from the meetings.
I would like to see like a lighthouse and hope, reflection, and healing.
To the writing class. And the writing class was particularly hard because there was just not people who were left behind after a suicide of a loved one. It was also people who were struggling with their mental health journey and has attempted suicide. So you got to hear from both sides.
After we were done with the writing, it was performed at the Arts Center.
This pain is unlike any other grief, a complicated grief filled with guilt, stigma, what ifs, whys.
It was a full house, and it was amazing to see people come together.
Just to hear our stories of our pain that we went through.
So for me, the end of hope is not the end of life, but it is the beginning of a life lived with more dignity, more intention, and more love.
One of the things that I love about this particular project is the ability to bring people together around something that is challenging and difficult and painful. I think common ground when you're working with community is essential to really get at the spirit of the work and to try to create something that touches people. I think it's easier to enter into a project when you've had some experience with the subject matter. I'll go back to a conversation that I had with my mom when I was a child about my grandmom and grandpop, who I knew as my dad's parents, and then asking mom about, well, where are your parents? So I never met my grandfather. He died by suicide well before I was born. And he had lost his wife and was raising 3 kids. And I think the way it was described to me was that he had a nervous breakdown and he ended up taking his life. Having a lot of frank conversations with mom, through the years about it, I think it allowed me to step into this project in a different way. It's not an easy thing to talk about. So, again, going back to the power of art, I feel like, if art can be a vehicle to engage in the subject, it's a great thing to be able to do.
The title of the mural is called Embracing the Light. So there is that theme throughout it. Keep looking for the silver lining, even when things feel very dark and difficult. Just a reminder that there's the whole community of people going through a similar situation as yourself.
It just feels good to be a part of something that's uplifting and hopeful, and painting is my favorite thing to do, so I can do what I love every day and then also be helping the community.
It's big, 60 by 30, roughly. From street level, I believe it sits up about 85 feet. From the top down, you have a child who's, framed by a clear blue sky and looking upward. The gesture and the face, the optimism was something that's clear to me in the conversations. Like, we wanted a sense of hope. And then below the hands is the light within. The hands are my daughter's hands. She was a reluctant hand model, and I had to set a light up underneath of her because I wanted to get that sort of light from within, kind of casting light up onto the base of the hands, which is a little tricky because there's like natural ambient light with the, daylight, and it's a sort of like quilted frame, and the landscape is also a quilt that wraps around the child and spills down across the shoulders and into a community. And there's a number of figures that are supporting an embrace between a parent and a child. Below that, there's a community gathering around a pool of water, which is actually a waterfall coming off the larger child's shoulder. At the base of the mural, there's a boat, and the boat is empty, and there's a gathering around the shore where the boat's being tied down. The first mural had a moment of crisis illustrated by someone in a boat in troubled water, and this kind of borrows from the narrative that existed with the first mural and continues it into a slightly different, more optimistic direction.
Mural arts does this interesting process where we paint on parachute cloth. It's this pretty kind of thin fabric, but it's cool because then we can bring it to these community paint days. We bring the mural to the community that's participating, and they're able to paint the initial kind of layers of the mural, very similar to like a coloring book in that they're like paint by numbers. So Kat and I spent a couple months mixing, I think, over 200 colors for paint day. Then we labeled out almost every little section on these mural sheets, and then the community's able to participate. Really great energy, a lot of passionate people.
I had more paint on me than on the mural.
We quickly learned to paint from the inside out.
It's down from the outside in.
And I was able to participate in that with my mentee, Dean, and also with my niece, Jordan, who is actually the daughter of my brother who passed away. The paint day is an opportunity to connect with people and share stories over your paint table.
Like fun, happy stories of our loved ones who died.
And as you painted, it was like healing.
Connecting with others through this kind of work, I think, lifts the burden of your grief and that you're not alone and everybody's going through something.
Letting the people be involved with the story that's told, the art that's created, and even the hands on that day, I think that is phenomenal. I think that it just adds a sense of pride. And maybe that sense of pride is something as people are driving by, they say, hey, I helped paint that. I know I'm thinking that way. Even though I only painted a couple of squares, I can still say I helped paint that mural with pride.
This is the first project for the paint days with the community participation where we actually got a base coat across the whole mural. Once the base coat is complete, we bring the panels back to the studio and mend the seams and develop the base coat into something that's a little bit more rendered.
It was a really successful community engagement, and all the painting was done really well, and now it's our turn to just kind of make it more detailed and colorful. I'm working on the green quilt that's covering the child. That's the main focus of the mural. Down here is the part that was more of like a paint by number with the people at paint day. And a little further up, you can see where it's been touched up by me. It's been like a huge team effort.
I've done a lot of paint days with mural arts, and this was particularly unique because it's unfortunately a topic that's been pretty relevant in my life. My dad passed away in 2015 from suicide. So this has been a good opportunity to engage with that story in my life in a healthy environment and doing something that I really enjoy. My dad's name was Tom Smith. He was, I think, 57 when he passed away. He was a creative person too, so I think he'd be stoked to see me working jobs that require me to be creative and allow me to paint and further that mission of bringing the arts to everybody. It's been 10 years, and it's hard to say it out loud. What happened, but I guess I feel like with this project, I've been able to see how much I've progressed. For me, it's made me a little bit more comfortable talking about my experience with suicide. It's always hard to find something positive from that experience, but what you get from loss and from grief is the ability to connect with others on a deeper level and understand what it is to be human and to be comfortable with being vulnerable.
Mural arts typically has a mural dedication at the end of the mural making process where we're releasing the mural to the community. This is a product of all of our collective voices, and now it's here to tell a story.
Social and individual change happens when human beings defiantly refuse to accept the idea that nothing new is possible, because something new is always possible. And certainly the transcendent power of art shows us that. Every mural is a beacon, is a catalyst, and it's a sign that people care, that we are here, and no one will be forgotten.
I know that every time I look at it, I'm gonna be proud. There's my little section over there. See, anything blue was me and Rose. It's gonna make me happy, and it's gonna make me feel calm and together and not alone.
And I'm hoping that it helps the community open up a little bit more.
We set out to create a reminder to find and build healthy connections, a reminder that we can find strengths in our community and joy in everyday moments. Thank you for working with me to create what I see as both a monument to mental health and a memorial to our loved ones. This is a very special community. It's a club that no one wishes to be a part of. It's here that we find that healing isn't about letting go of the past, but rather carrying our pain with purpose and grace and proceeding with wisdom and empathy as a beacon for others. With each occurrence, right, of loss, it's hard, but it feels like, all right, this is why we're doing it, because it does happen and we need it to happen less or not at all. And it's really a conversation about mental health and mental wellness, and I think awareness is a part of that, and I think that's part of the power of the project.
If you ever are struggling, I encourage you to dial 988. I encourage you to tap into therapy. I encourage you to journal, go for walks, do whatever it takes to look inside. My first therapist told me you can't conquer what you don't confront, you can't confront what you don't acknowledge, and you can't acknowledge what you don't see. So I encourage everyone to do whatever it takes to see so that you can work back to conquering or caring for whatever it takes in order for you to be well and for you to stay here.
What I would like to see is more accessibility, more acceptance. I think we need more
Compassion. Definitely more compassion.
Until we walk in someone's shoes, we really don't know where they come from.
1, 2, 3.
I think as long as people come together, there will be hope.